Next on the docket, an update on the ex-drama teacher at Horace Greeley High School in Chappaqua, New York, who admitted to sexually abusing students. Christopher Schroffnagel, he resigned back in 2015. Then he was arrested and charged with sexually abusing 3 of his students. He pleaded guilty and received 3 years probation. He also had to surrender his teaching license and register as a sex offender. Many parents livid that he didn't get any jail time, and they were also upset by the way the district handled the whole thing. Many saying the Board of Ed, they were tone deaf, including trying to out the names of the parents who were suing the district and blaming the students by saying anything that happened was a result of, quote, recklessness and negligence on not just the behalf of the teacher, but also the kids. But there's more. The Journal News obtained an email string on the suit between members of the Chappaqua School Board, and it shows just what some of the members thought of the parents that were involved in the suit. Board President Allison Gardner writing, quote, some very sick dogs are barking. I say, let them yip themselves into a frenzy, end quote. Trustee Jeffrey Mester showing at least some contrition, writing, appearing to blame the victim was a PR mistake and not something any of us think is the case. Would have said on our own or in any way believe, I think, that that's been the catalyst for the recent fallout and ill will. Finally, the board president said, what we are seeing is a feeding frenzy of bitter and unhinged individuals, and it's a tiny group at that. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And again, he was referencing the parents of the kids. Right now, 7 former Greeley students, they're suing Schroffnagel as well as the district, and one of the cases claims that the district is withholding evidence, including refusing to turn over complaints from parents in the drama program, and the results of a background check they also want to see when he was hired back in 2003. Julie Gogren, she's the attorney bringing that suit. And I want to talk about the suit here, but again, to put this in context, talk about your client. How old was he when some of this abuse happened, and what did this teacher do to him?
Our client was 15 years old when he was first molested by this teacher, and the molestation occurred more than once. He also was subjected, along with other Greeley students, to a barrage of sexual harassment that occurred during plays, while rehearsing for plays. It was also a constant theme during class time. This teacher would virtually assault these kids with a steady stream of obscene, inappropriate talk about sex, about drugs. It was incessant.
And it wasn't just a classroom setting. He took them on school trips. He was basically given almost free rein here with the drama department, plied him with alcohol, with weed. I mean, this is not, I think, for anyone seeing it at home, a traditional parent-teacher interaction. This went way beyond the norm.
That's correct. This teacher was given carte blanche. He used that term himself at one point. And that included taking the kids to the city to see plays, ostensibly, but these little journeys also included giving the kids drugs. They included drinking. He took the kids on international trips, and the school district's position is these had nothing to do with us. It was for Greeley students. They were planned in the Greeley High School. The trips were coordinated with the curriculum in the class, and our client was sexually abused on one of these trips. There was a tremendous amount of drinking, and the district's position is we don't know anything about that.
And again, we're talking about a 15-year-old kid here. Okay, so in the past we've talked about this. I don't pretend to be objective because my head would have exploded if I was a parent here and I have my minor kid in the custody of the school, and they're putting not only these trips, but putting my kid in this environment. And then I hear these comments that because I have the umbrage to take out concerns over what happened to my minor child with a teacher that's in the employ of the district, and they're trying to make this go away and threatening to out my name because I have the temerity to ask. Okay, with that as a backdrop, you've said, all right, hold on a second here. You guys are claiming you didn't hear anything about this till 2015. Forget about all the rumor and innuendo that you probably should have heard or seen. Moreover, I want to see the records here. You're asking for a discovery to say, take me back to when the guy was hired, the background checks, and I want to know if there was any complaints made. And what's the school told you when you've asked?
Essentially, the answer has been no. We don't have it. You're asking for too much. We can't find it. We don't know how to investigate it. This is your problem. It's not our problem. And we, through our own investigation, we are aware that complaints were made. The school district has put in affidavits that there was a complaint in 2011 when this teacher, Schroffnagel, took students to Canada. And we want to see the documentation. Where are the notes? Where's anything? And there's absolutely, they've given us nothing.
And the clear implication is the school can't cry shock and awe here in 2015 when the revelations came out after a kid claimed that he had been assaulted directly to the school by the teacher. If in 2011 warning signs or red flags were up there saying, hey, this guy's acting inappropriately with these kids, what are we going to do about it? Probably putting him with unsupervised school trips going forward wouldn't be a good idea.
That's exactly right. There were warning signs, and our contention is if they had paid attention to the red flags, either by investigating properly and or supervising this fellow, our client and others would have been spared tremendous pain.
Do you understand the position the district and the board are taking here? Because I don't, in that they didn't commit, they may have created an unsafe environment, they may not have acted properly, but the more they try and drag this out, the more that they seem that they're on the side of the abuser rather than the victim.
I think they're in a self-protective mode, and that's their priority. And of course, I think most parents wish the priority would be the students. I'll give you an example. After 2015, when our client blew the whistle and came out with what had happened, and then other children also came out, the school district hired a national expert on sexual abuse in schools to do a report. Now, a lot of schools, prominent schools, have had these issues.
Sure.
They've hired attorneys or whomever to investigate, get to the bottom of it, get all the facts out. That's not what Chappaqua did. Chappaqua hired a nationally known expert in sexual harassment in schools, and they asked her to undertake what they called a look forward. In other words, what should we do going forward? What they didn't do conspicuously is look back on what led to all this. The report does not deal with that, and that's unusual in this arena.
It isn't relegated just to your client, to the other kids, but you can speak to yours. This had lasting damage on this child.
Absolutely. I mean, it's heartbreaking. What this involves is a betrayal by an authority figure, a trusted figure. This man was very good at manipulating people. And you think you're 15 years old and you look up to your teacher, you trust him, and you have this assault on physical assault, emotional assault. It causes, unfortunately, severe damage. Yes.
Julie, I appreciate all the time here, and I wish you the best luck with this case.
Thank you so much.
And up next, two big court cases that will have huge repercussions for the Trump administration. One, it involves a travel ban. The other, the Dreamer program. We'll fill you in on both.